Hey family, welcome to How Love Works, where we talk about the principles for lasting love. Hey guys, if I have been any help at all, if you've learned and gotten any insights at all, if there's any benefits that you've learned at all, please like, subscribe, and share. All right, now let's get to it. We've been talking about Ready to Love. Part 2 is where we're going to start, and we're going to end because that's the end. I have to say that I don't think this is going to really be a long, drawn out video, only because of the fact that I think everyone has determined where they stand and everyone has an opinion about it. I'm no different. I don't really see a problem with that. I'm just saying that I don't really think that you need to draw it all out. You know what I'm going to be saying is going to be pretty cut and dry, I think. I just have what I think maybe a different perspective on it. That's about it. It's just no different than yours. Your perspective and my perspective are not any less valuable. And so it's just a matter of me, taking this platform and taking advantage of, what I've seen and giving you my perspective on it. So I have to say that I have pretty much two questions, when it comes to what I saw on Saturday. And when I saw it, the first question that came to my mind, I wrote it down right here in my notebook. I said, explain to me, anybody, explain to me how anyone can continue a relationship long after the thrill is gone. That's number one. And number two, also explain to me how any person, right, can squeeze every ounce of pleasure that was in that particular relationship and conclude that the relationship doesn't work for him or her. Go ahead, explain that one to me. I'll wait. Right? I don't get it. So I sat here and I looked at that. I looked at the show and and I started to laugh at what I saw. Now remember, I come from another generation. I come from another worldview. I get that. I understand. And so their approach to relationships are going to be a little different than my generation's approach to relationships. So I will say this. I will extend that olive branch. But at the end of the day, it made me laugh because I started thinking, the first thing came to my mind, y'all not going to believe this, I was thinking about Dave Chappelle and his that stand-up that he did called Sticks and Stones. And the first thing came to my mind was that Juicy Smoothie skit that he did. So when I was looking at the situation with Tandy and Reva and Mario, that's what came to my mind, that Juicy Smoothie skit. Because I looked at it and I said, wow, Juicy Smoothie. Okay, that's crazy, and I said, fake news. And then I said, wow, default pattern relationships. Wow, I saw all of that, boom, just like that. Now, why do I say Juicy Smoothie? Well, first of all, you guys know, just as Dave said, he was clearly lying in his description because none of what he said added up. None of it. And I can say the same thing about Mario. And so one thing I would say about Mario is the acting job that he pulled on Tandy, my girl. The acting job that he pulled on her. I'll even go so far as Reva and everyone else that's watching, us as well. I got to give that boy, I got to give it to him. If I was outside, I had to give it to him right now. I said, man, You deserve an Oscar for that. You need to get an Oscar, man, because that was smooth what you pulled off. I said, first of all, this dude with the Puerto Rico and Cancun, that boy got a twofer. That was some serious acting. Juicy, smooth, yay. I gotta give it to him. But like I said, I already know in my mind how that's gonna turn out. It's not gonna go well. I don't even need to deal with it anymore. I just think that it's just an obvious consequence. It's, you know, relationships are consequential. Behavior, good or bad, have consequences. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. Fake news. Fake news. Now, who was doing that? Obvious. That was Reva again and Carrie this time. If you guys remember, Reva and Carrie, especially Carrie, he really had a thing for Reva when he first got on the show, and he pursued her. But if you guys remember, when they were sitting at some little restaurant, and she started discussing with him, you know, what she does to relax herself, how she depressurizes, and how she eliminates stress, what makes her feel good. She named 3 things. Now, I'm going to tell you that litmus test, that that fake news broadcast that he constantly keeps saying that he did it so that he can solicit some response out of it, that was just nonsense. It was based upon those 3 things that she told him. Now, if you guys want to find out what that is, I did do a video on it. I think I called it Reva versus Carrie. I think it was Ready for Love Season 2, Episode 4. Check it out. Now, she responded, or he responded to what she told him sitting at the table. So it was a bunch of fake news. He didn't want to let it go, though. He wanted to keep on saying that he was trying to elicit some sort of response. Everyone listening know it didn't make any sense, but he wasn't willing to let it go. Okay? So I'm going to let it go myself. If you go listen to the video or go watch the video, you'll see where I'm coming from. And last but not least, default pattern relationships. Oh my God. You always hear people talking about they don't want to settle. They don't want to settle. But look at this. Is this like a thing in Atlanta? Is this a thing with black people? This default pattern relationships where people, they start in a relationship with someone and they get into a whole pattern, and then when that relationship kind of crumbles or goes south on you, then you jump ship before it totally crashes and you get into another relationship and you try to pose as if that new relationship was what you really wanted. I don't know. It seems like that's what it's all about today. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just seeing that's what I see. So I looked at those 3 things when I was watching that, and I have to say there were a few silver linings and there were a few surprises. I will mention these things because these are what I would call honorable mentions. For instance, I was glad to see that Aisha and Mike, the truck driver, I didn't know they got that tight. I didn't know that. But I'm glad something good came out of that journey for her as well as him, because I noticed that her type, when she first started, she said her type was Brent. Obviously, he wasn't her type. Brent wasn't her type. Brent looked like her type, but he really wasn't her type. That's obvious. Okay? I was kind of shocked by the Terrell and the Nina thing. That was another couple, but that was pretty good. I was glad. I was glad to see something good, look like something good might come out of that. And then John, oh my God, the prophet John. Here he is. He's sitting up here, got married, but then when Tommy asked him about, were you seriously gonna, well, no, it wasn't Tommy, I think it was Chica. Yeah, it was Chica. Chica asked him, if you had not, if your journey had not ended sooner than it did, would you have gotten married? And so, of course, he's in the, in that default pattern relationship kind of syndrome thing. He kind of tried to, walk around it because he claimed that he had, 4 or 5 doors open, which were nothing but options. I don't really think he really knew what he was going to do. But he claimed he would have did the right thing and he would have married the woman he married. But I digress. I don't think so. I think if he would have got Tandy or any other women, he would have been just as happy. But it didn't work out that way for him. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this by giving you the basic 3 takeaways that I got from part 2. And the takeaway I got was based on what I saw with all those people and all of the drama that I saw, especially with Reva, because as I said, Reva, even though she had that drama between Tandy and Mario, even when she was with Carrie, she ended up creating a little drama with him, and that turned him off. I can see why she by herself, because she just confused as far as I can see. But anyway, the first takeaway I see is that I don't know if any of these people have changed their minds. I mean, what do I mean by that? There's a transition. If you want to come into my world, that is the world of partnership, lifetime partnership, you have to change your mind from being single focused to being partnered focused, or that means have a team mentality. And a lot of people, I'm not sure, beloved, whether or not they have done that. Because how you see a thing determines how you treat it. So if you haven't changed your mind and you're doing like what I noticed most, if not all of them were doing, they were just following their heart. And I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to follow your heart in a relationship. You don't. You can't trust your heart. The Bible even tells you in Jeremiah 17 that the heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? You don't even know it. So you don't want to follow your heart. That's the biggest reason is that you might feel strong about someone because you're following your heart. But when you feel strong about someone, that person can also be wrong for you. Just because you feel strong about an individual emotionally, that doesn't mean that person isn't wrong for you. That's all I'm saying. So you don't want to follow your heart. And you need to change your mind, because it's going to determine how you treat the individuals in your life. It's going to determine how you see yourself. Okay, that's number 1. That's my first takeaway. The second takeaway is you need to know who you are. Now, I got that from, these default pattern relationships. They obviously don't know who they are. They don't have no self-awareness. They flopping from one person to the next like, it's nobody's business. And the reason you do, in order to eliminate this default pattern relationship thing, you have to have a good understanding of who you are. You need to know who you are, and more importantly, you have to know who you need to become in order to attract who you need and who you want in a relationship. That's why it's important for you to know who you are. Then you won't be so quick to be like a pendulum going back and forth, or like a windmill going whichever the direction the wind blows. So if you don't know who you are, how will you know when you find what you are? What do I mean by what you are? What I'm talking about is, beloved, we select people who reflect who we are. Compatibility. So you need to know who you are, or you can just forget it. It's a wrap. You'll be picking up the dregs that's out here. And there's plenty of Peter Pans and Tinkerbells out here. Plenty. And if you're tired of running around on that merry-go-round, you need to really, really reconsider and think about what I'm saying. And the last but not least, are you the priority or just another option? Just like John said he had 4 doors, are you just another option? Like Reva and Alexis and London and Brent and Mario, all these people treated each other like options. Now, what that means is you need to have a dating purpose, because your dating purpose determines your priorities, right? If your purpose is a sex partner, then your priorities and your criteria, okay, is going to be different. If your dating purpose is just to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, then your priorities and your criteria is going to be different. If your purpose is a life partner, which the old man, that's how I feel, that's how I roll, right? Then your priorities and your criteria will be different, right? Then it will be painfully obvious, right, to everyone who's paying attention and paying close attention, because your decisions will determine what kind of dating priority that you have. Your decisions, people will be able to tell by the type of decisions you make in the relationship. They will be able to determine the type of relationship you have. Do you have, and the priorities that you take in a relationship. A person will be able to know whether or not they are a priority or just another option, based upon your decision, because your decisions will be a marker. So if you still have that single focus, then when you make your decisions will only encompass you. But if you have a partnered focus, then you know when you make your decisions will also include and encompass the person that you're in a relationship with. So your decisions will be a marker. I don't know where your head is. I don't know where your heart is, right? So, that being said, family, Ready to Love, Season 2, Reunion Part 2. I hope you learned something. I hope you gleaned something. I hope you learned that you don't have to just settle. You can have what you want, but you must be willing to change your mind, know who you are, and if you can do those things, you just might be ready to love. That's my time. I thank you for yours. I catch you on the other side. God bless you.